Right, we are live. Hello everyone and welcome to another video and podcast from Eliteserien Fantasy. Here I'm joined by Espen and Jakob to chat about Game Week 4, where one of us has wildcarded and sold 5 goals, 1 assist and 8 bonus points. But first, Jakob and Espen, tell me, how are you guys?
Jakob, go.
I am okay. I have not had a good game week either, but I expect Karam to have much more to complain about than me. So yeah.
Me too. I'm okay. The summer vacation, but fantasy. I sold a man who scored goals and assisted. So, but Karam, you will complain more than me, I think. Still, so.
I'm all right. I'm fine. Like the one in the living room with the fire all around. It's like I'm fine. And that was what my wild card. And welcome to everyone on the stream here. We have about 21 now. So welcome everyone. Welcome Hestibo, Post 2 Points, Tropians as well. Welcome everyone. Right. So let's start by reviewing our game week 4, and we always start from the highest points to lowest. So Espen, you go first. 49 points with a -4. Tell us.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, I'm lower than you since the -4, but 49. Solheim got an assist, even though I think it might shouldn't be one. He passed the ball. He tried to pass it to someone, and the goalkeeper pushed it away, and he got an assist. I don't know actually why. When Vålerenga was leading, I would prefer them winning 1-0 instead of 2-1 against Viking. Of course, I was happy when Viking scored, but he lost some points there, Claesson. Of course, always captain Eikrem, 18 points, saved my game week, but the transfer was Børven out. And Kinoshita out. Thinking about that, sub man out after a hat trick before playing the weakest team in Eliteserien. I can't understand why I did it, but I thought that Junker and Salvesen with James up top was the best front strikers I could have. So I stood for it, went -4, and hate myself for doing it right now. And Berg, of course, 3 bonus. You always can expect that.
Right. Yes, 49 -4, that makes me higher up, but it's all right. I'm still in the shock of my game week. So I'll go next. 47 points on a wild card. So first, it's bad because it's lower than the average, but it's even worse because it's a wild card team. So basically, my defense was shocking. Aspect 3 bonus points is the only thing you can talk about. Double defense, they just vanished. Nobody showed up. Nobody is caring about us. The midfield was sort of stable, right? So what I did, I sold Maigard, who got a goal penalty and 2 bonus points. I sold Borvin, 2 goals and 1 assist and 2 bonus points. I sold who else? I don't remember anymore, but everybody. Sandberg blanked, Singer blanked. Heide was a good one, 7 points. I sold Berg, who we talked about, and I just opted for the Heide for the attacking 3rd spot of Bodø/Glimt. Captain Eikrem made up for it. I sold Uhi, who I wanted initially to have James back, but both scored, so it doesn't matter. But at least now I am relaxed that I have the best player in the league, the bonus points magnet man, and he could have more than a goal. 4 shots on target last game week against Stabæk. Could have easily and had another goal or assist at least. Junker with an assist, nice, welcome to the team. Salvesen. I just wanted to Niger to go like a differential captain. It's like, wow, no, you can't go past Eikrem. And thank God I did. Castro with a blank, very disappointing. I thought I would split the rest between Maigard, Salvesen, and Castro. Just go one from here, one from there, because both defenses are rubbish. But Castro was even more disappointing because we were talking, Jakob, before the stream, that Castro is not even taking the set pieces we would like to. Somebody else has done that. So a question mark for Castro. But Yeah. We move on. Jakob, 43 points. Not a great game week either, but some positives, I would say.
I'm struggling to find some. Saltness is maybe the only positive. I had no Bodø/Glimt cover, so it's 43 -4 because I did a -4. But Saltness was like a bit of a differential Bodø/Glimt player I brought in, so I don't know if I was smart or lucky that only Hauge and Junker with an assist was the only one doing something and not Zinkernagel, so I'm happy with that. Ibrahima finally scored. Uhi scored and I kept him, so I'm happy with that. The other defender I brought in was Solholm Johansen. I watched the highlights back and he was close to a goal and an assist. Stabæk defenders didn't really expect much, but a -1 for Hanke is not what I expected either way. And I have seen someone pointed out in the chat already that I have betrayed Eikrem 2 times now, going for a differential. I think when I hit with the Pellegrino, got 46 points, I have been
hangover.
I have been fooled to think that I'm so smart and can go for a differential captain each week. So I have to learn that I have to go for Eikrem most of the time. So 43 -4 and a rank to around 6k, so not that good.
Yeah, in my case, I think I'm 2,600 overall. Espen 3,000, so pretty much still around each other. So hopefully it's only upwards and onwards. Let's go to the matches of Game Week 4. Sometimes you know the game week from the first game. It was pretty shocking to realize that I went without Borvin against the start. No options on Saturday. I had no picks at all, so it was a pure watch. But what a horror show! So, Espen 5 goals. How do you feel about Borvin now? And Hoff, which is a cheeky pick at 5.5, delivered again. So let's talk about this match and Odd as a team who turned the table around compared to the first two.
Well, first of all, I had Dalan in this game, start defender. Fingers crossed on Saturday. I thought this might be the day for Dalan and Start. I actually suggested everyone to bet on Start because I thought I would win this game against Odd. But it was like 5 minutes or something, and Odd took the lead. And I knew this would be a bad night. Even though the first goal, Berlin just got an assist, I knew it would come more. It did. Odd was a much better team than Start. Start didn't have any chances. It was so bad. I didn't watch the whole game, but I had some visitors here, and we had it on TV, and it just goal after goal after goal, and I sold Berlin. So it was a hard night for me Saturday. I think I got a message from I was just about saying my girlfriend told me that I was not in a good mood that night. I know it was because of a Berlin move. I sold him. And she also said she can't hear me too well right now. So if anyone else here listening to this is agreeing with her, right here. But Hoff is a great move from Saletros. If you have Saletros, I think Hoff is a way to go from him.
Yeah, I do agree, and it's the first clean sheet as well to Odd this season so happy days to Rosbach, Ruud, and Riza owners, who actually both of them have got Ruud and Riza got an assist as well. Right, so Jakob, another defeat to Viking. What's going on with Viking? A goal from Ibrahimai, which is very nice for fantasy managers, but seemed like a bit a competitive game. But again, Viking lost it. So what's going on?
Yeah, this is the big difference from Viking this year to last season, because they played a very good second half and should have scored more than the one goal they did, but again they let in a stupid goal, like a deflection that ends up to the opposite player and they score. I think it was like 3 minutes before the 90, so it was a bit heartbreaking, but some positive signs at least. Glad, as you said, that I kept Ibrahimai, although I was hoping for him to take some set pieces, but it seems like a Joe Bell 4.9 midfielder is taking the set pieces for Viking now and delivered some good crosses in. So there's another one if you want to change from Saletros, because Viking have Sandefjord start in the 2 next games now. So hopefully we turn it around and win some games.
Yeah, so Joe Bell is 4.9. So indeed, if you look for a fifth midfielder, he looks like a good option to slot in. Bear in mind, he did not start the first 2, but since the new change of formation, he started the last 2. So he could be someone who is in and out or nailed on the spot, you think?
I think with the 2 games he has played now in the local paper here in Stavanger, he has been praised as the man of the match for Viking. So I believe he will keep his place now, and Løkberg is moved a bit more forward in the pitch.
Nice indeed. Bodø/Glimt won. Not the result we expected against Sarpsborg, because we expected more goals from Bodø/Glimt, who scored 15 goals now in 4 game weeks, which is bizarre. But yeah, it's a great win for them. 4 wins in a row. Heide and Saltnes with the goals, and Bjorkan and Junker with the assists. So Espen, we've doubled and tripled up already on Bodø/Glimt, and to see the second goal is like, we have no one. No Saltnes, no Bjorkan. Jakob, you do have Saltnes, so that was good. But how did you feel about Bodø/Glimt going forward?
Well, I still think 3 offensive players from Bodø/Glimt is the way to go. Even if you go Berg for 4.5 or even Hauge, Saltnes, and Junker, I still think that's a good thing to do. Like Jakob is on wildcard now, so I don't know if he's trying to go with 3 Bodø/Glimt offensive. He will ask and he will answer that in a minute, I guess. But when I saw this game, the first thing I noticed was, of course, Boyang. I still have him in my team, and he was starting. It was excellent. He played 45 minutes, and of course, he got a yellow card. And again, 0 points. So that's 1 point from 4 games, and everyone wanted him before the season. So
yeah,
get rid of him. But Bodø/Glimt, as I didn't hope for with Zinkernagel, he looks like he's the one might assist and third last on the ball, like Jakob said some streams ago. And Hauge and Saltnes is the man who scores. I think that will continue. So I'm a little bit worried about Zinkernagel with both Hauge and Saltnes as cheaper options.
Yeah, 2 things to note from my side. First one is Boyang. I was talking to Jakob before we go live, and we agreed that Boyang is a guy who either does not start and gets subbed on and get a yellow card, so 0 points, or he starts, gets a subbed off in the 59th minute with a yellow card, so you'll get 0 either way. What a guy. Berg is again on the bonus points, maximum bonus points. That's 3 times in 4 game weeks now. 3, 3, 3, and the 4th one was 2 bonus points. That's 4.6 now. He is competing to be... He is not a benchable option anymore, I think. You'd have to start him if you have a specific structure that you need to put someone at 4.6 in the starting 11. Berg. Wow. Moving on to the next game, Jakob. Mjøndalen 1, Kristiansand 2. Big win for them. This is the game that I wished to end a 0-0. It's the only game that did not end a 0-0. But Pellegrino came on as a sub and scored. Ibrahim Shibo scored as well. A 6.1 looks like a big value as a third option. You agree on that? And what have your thoughts on the Kristiansand who are playing Molde next game?
Yeah, I was also hoping for a clean sheet for Mjøndalen at least, and for Pellegrino not to score. And both things, of course, went the opposite way. But yeah, many interesting players in this game that are on my watch list now for my wild card. As you mentioned, Ibrahima Shaibu scored for the third game in a row. And even with these goals, in all the 3 games, he has like 1 goal and 1 or 2 big chances. So it seems like when Mjøndalen get the chance, it is him who gets it. So he could be a good cheap striker. For Kristiansund, you have, of course, Pellegrino as the like premium option, but there are a lot of more cheaper options as well. With all of them getting points last game. Kaludra has been really good this season, scored a goal, and both Sørli and Askar is all like differential options if you want to go for Kristiansund players, although I don't know if Askar will keep his place now that Pellegrino is back.
Well, Askar has started 3 games in a row. So he played even though Pellegrino were playing 2, one of those games. And I think he delivered enough to keep in his spot. Yeah. And he is one option on especially the Saletros issue, if you have him still.
Also, we have struggled to find some good defenders this year, but Osbach with 3 bonus and on set pieces, a good option. And Ulvestad again, those seems like the 2 defenders who get good amount of bonus points from Kristiansund.
I do agree. I had Alvestad up until the wild card at 4.5, and I thought that it's worth the upgrade when I saw Aspak attacking thread. It's so amazing going forward on set pieces as well. And he got 2 bonus points, 3 bonus points. So pretty good options here. Crowley is another one I had an eye on, but he seems to be missing 1 game and getting into the another. So he will rotate his place. So I would say from a defensive standpoint, Aspak 1, Alvestad number 2 as options as well. Moving on to Molde against Stabæk. An expected win from Molde by 4 goals to 1. Ekrem, James, Uhi, and Knutson with the goals. Molde is a team, I think, in a messy situation. We're not sure anymore who is going to play up front or he's going to play at the back. So, Espen, what do you think of Molde, and is it still worth tripling up on them, and where? Double attack, double defense, and who?
Well, yeah, you have to triple up on Molde for sure. They are the best team in Eliteserien, and they deliver all the time. First of all, you need Ekrem. He's the best player in the Eliteserien, no doubt about it. He scored. I thought he scored another one because I watched this Football Direct, which is they show every game, and he had the ball. He took some man off and shots. I thought, this is a goal. A rebound and another rebound, and then the Molde Knutson scored. So he didn't get anything from that, but Ekrem could have much more in this game, and his passes is just brilliant. I can't understand how he does it. I can't even see it. Okay, of course we can see it in Premier League, but he's something of himself, and I think Ekrem is the first pick, and then I'm not sure about James and Uhi because they will share minutes. And if Børven is staying in Odd, I think he might be the one as a premium striker, and then doubling in defense, as you have done, Karam, might be the solution. Gregersen, cheap one, and Pedersen, for example, would be my 2 options in defense. And for Stabæk, I still think Solheim in the defense, and even Vogt, who is, I think he's back from the injury next game. Jakob, do you know something?
Yeah, I think he only was like sick, and with the coronavirus, they have to be like sure that.
Yeah, sure.
So I think he will be back. I hope so.
He's in my starting 11 right now. I think they will keep clean sheets.
Great. Jakob, if we talk about Hedesand, the game where you captained Sandberg and he failed you, it's only a thin win by 1 goal, by Velde goal and Fredriksen assist. What do you think of Harrison? They kept a clean sheet. They have won the game. Do you think they have a good chance against start next day game? I see people in the chat say Sandberg captain already locked in again. So you captain Sandberg. How do you feel about captaining him again?
Yeah, as I am on a wild card, I watched some of the games back. It was played this weekend, and unfortunately, I watched back this game because this is one of the most boring games I watched in my entire life. Because other than the goal, nothing really happened in the game. But the wrong player scored, of course. Velde, no one owns him. But Sandberg showed some glimpse, but it's difficult with Sandberg captain next game week because he had a really good game versus Kristiansund where he scored in open play. But other than that, Haugesund seemed to struggle to create something other than set pieces and penalties. But Start, as I see many people have written already, that they looked really shocking defensively. No one is pressuring the guy with the ball, and they also conceded some set pieces versus Odd. And Sandberg is on the set pieces for Haugesund, so he's of course a good option, but because he failed me this week, I find it hard to put the armband on him next week as well.
Yeah, I can totally get that. Dessler looked very attacking as well. An assist last game week and 2 bonus points with a clean sheet this game week. So at 5.5, I had my doubts at the beginning of the season. I didn't have a doubt about him himself, but about Harrison as a team and the ability to keep a clean sheets. If they keep it on, Dessler could be a good option at relatively expensive price, 5.5 for Harrison defender, but he can offer some value there.
This is maybe the last game which is like easy, and then the fixtures turns and it's Odd away, Molde, Vålerenga away, Viking, Rosenborg, and so on. So I wouldn't bring anyone in, but of course you keep them in this game and then maybe ship them out. Is my thoughts.
That's very good point. Yeah. Right, so Strømgodset 1, Alisand 1. It's excitingly draw again with Hayden with the goal. He is another 6.5 or less striker who is on the score sheet. He scored the first goal this season, but he could have had at least one more, if not two. Strømgodset were making mistakes from really high up defensive line, so he had a lot of space to run behind, but he was fouled in a couple of times. Maigard with a jammy penalty again. I saw this guy, so I have to say jammy. It's a comical penalty as well. The way the guy has tackled him is like just so funny. But looking at the game, Salvesen disappointed, and nothing from Castro, who I brought him, and the penalty. I had another eye test on Maida just to be sure of my thoughts on him. Apart from the penalties, he didn't have any shot on target in the last 4 games, apart from one blocked shot and one shot on target in the last 4 game weeks, and that's not enough. He plays very deep, I would say. But if Strømgodset is a team who will get a lot of penalties like Man United in Premier League, then Maigard all of a sudden will be a golden page. So what do you think, Jakob, on this?
It's difficult, but the way I look at him now, I would rather have Sandberg for maybe 1 million. I think Sandberg has risen a bit, but like a lot less money, and spend the money elsewhere because you can't rely on penalties. And if you have to rely on a penalty, I would rather have a player that costs less. Because as you said, apart from the penalties, he didn't look great. And I'm disappointed at Salvesen as well, because he started the season so good. And he's gotten some, last game he got some cheap assist points, but he's not looked that great in the last couple of games. So it's difficult with Strømsgodset, and they face Stabæk next, who has a good defense as well. So I
can't understand why I took a hit to buy Salvesen. Like, Why?
He looked great option for last game week for sure, but he did not look great, so that's unfortunate. Right, so Espen, we ended the game week 4 matches by I think an exciting match between Bran and Rosenborg, a late winner for Rosenborg. Rosenborg lost last minute against Bodø/Glimt, but they won it this time with the Haaland an assist and Holse scoring the winner. What do you think of this game?
Well, Brann was the better team first half, and then Rosenborg scored and injured time 46 minutes or something. Hovland scored after a corner. Assist Helland, and Holse scored a lucky goal in the last minute. I don't think Rosenborg is anywhere to go. Someone's asking if it's time to look at Rosenborg again as differential, but I think no, not yet. We got to see who are the new manager. We got to see more goals, and they have to show us that we can rely on Rosenborg. But Brann on the other side, I think still are interesting as the goal scorer Komson and the man who got the assist Bamba. Those two are the names who stands out from Brann, and I think that we keep on as they did the first 3 game weeks. That this will just be a setback, and they will be back again. Next week against Sarpsborg, for example. So at 7 million, both the Komson and Taylor, and at top Bamba. All those 3 are interesting in fantasy, I think. Very well. Before we move on to game week 5 matches and talk about the captain options, I have a little quiz for you guys. So first question is, how many shots on target has Zakariasen had in the first 4 game weeks of the season? Can you have a guess?
My guess is 2. 2 shots.
2. Okay, 2.
Espen?
1. That's the right one. It's the header against Molde. That's it.
Shit header versus Molde.
It's not even a header against Molde. Right. So the second question is, which striker in the Eliteserien that has more yellow cards than goals so far?
Bujang, maybe? No. Islamovic, it has to be.
It has to be Islamovic. Yeah, Islamovic. 2 yellow cards, 0 goals. Unbelievable record. Right, so, moving on to game week 5. Matches here. There are some captain standouts, I would say. Espen, let's start by Molde, of course, against Christiansen. You feel happy to captain Akram? And for the people who have, for the managers who own James or Uhi, are you going there?
Always happy to captain Akram, but this time it's hard because Akram has started every game, and he has to be rested soon. This is a tough one against Kristiansund, which is a local derby as well. I think Akram will start, but it's still a little bit risky, and with Sandberg home to start, and I know if Sandberg starts, I think he will start, but I will see the lineups before the deadline. So that's a safe call to go Sandberg, but when Wednesday is over and Sandberg didn't deliver,
it will be a hard weekend.
Game. Akram will, even with 20 minutes, Akram can do more than Sandberg. So I think I will end up with Akram, but the only thing that might change that is if I see on Twitter that everyone goes Sandberg. And,
just to close your Twitter. Just to close your Twitter.
But it's an open game. I think there will be a lot of goals.
Well, what do you think? What do you think, Jakob? More captain options from the list. You look for Bamba against Sarpsborg as a differential captain as well. Bodø/Glimt, of course.
It's. I don't think I should talk too much about captaincy because most likely I will go for a differential this week as well. But
don't go Bojang.
No, he was the first guy I took out on my wild card. But as Espen said, Sandberg is tempting, of course. And he will, of course, have a high. A lot of people will captain him, and Akram of course, is a good captain option as well, because I remember this game last season. I think it ended 3-2 to Kristiansund, actually. But there's also always a lot of goals in these games. And if there are a lot of goals in that game, Eikrem will be involved. So the safe option is, of course, like almost every game week, Eikrem.
Yeah.
But maybe that's just because I'm a Viking fan, but I felt like they played good offensively the second half versus Vålerenga, and Sandefjord didn't look great versus Haugesund. So if you want to bring in Berisha or if you have Ibrahimai, those could also be some differential captains.
Yeah. Very nice indeed. All right, so moving on to the next section, and what I'd like to show, like last time, is how who are the most owned players in the top 100 managers of Eliteserien, and there is a dramatic change in the picks from last time around. Mira is coming in the mix with 24% ownership as well, with the Klassen 27%. Asbak is pushing towards the top 5 defenders, top 5 owned defenders with the 18%, Nakim 19%, Pedersen is still there, Daland is still there, and Richardson is still there. So a double Molde defense at the moment. Heiga of Buduglemit 26%, unsurprisingly there. Berg 38%. That's surprising to me, because it should be way more. I thought Sandberg 79% and Eikrem with 112% ownership, which means that there are many have captained him last game week, and Singernagel was even more at 124%. So people who captained Singernagel probably did not have the best game week for them. James in the mix again with 40%, Salvesen 47%, and Junker 108%. So we had some Junker captainers as well. Anything surprised you, Espen, from the list?
Well, it's one thing, of course, and it's Bovan who's not there, and just shows that I'm not the only one who didn't have him this game week. But I'm not surprised by Dalan. He's a cheap one, of course. He's there. 2 defenders from Molde, of course. Everyone wants Molde players. Nakim has showed us enough to be there, even though I think Mjøndalen defense is not the way to go anymore. But elsewhere, I think it looks as expecting.
Yeah, we asked about Borvin as well. He is there with 30%, so he is just behind those 3 strikers, not very far. But yeah, indeed, I think many people have started to ship him in right away after the hat-trick, thinking he will not do it again, but say hello and punish us for another 15 points. All right. The next section, which is about the teams with the best fixtures. So I thought it's a nice opportunity to talk about the teams with the best fixtures going forward. First off, I'd like to recommend FPL Stimaif, who is updating the fixture ticker as well, week in, week out. It's a brilliant one to have. And Molde, Rosenborg, Brann on top of the list, Buduglemit as well, and Viking with the 5th best fixtures. Jakob thoughts on this, probably expectedly Molde and Buduglemit, but Rosenborg, they have still a lot of greens, although they did not impress so far.
No. I have looked at this a lot because, as I said, I'm on a wild card, so I have to plan out who I want to bring in. And as you said, it is his personal opinions, of course, but I agree with most of them. And I know we talked about that we are not that interested in Rosenborg, but they have some quite nice fixtures. If you go after probably the Stabæk game, they have Strømsgodset start Sandefjord. So, and if they get, it was like this last season as well, that they struggled in the start and then they had the game, they win, and then it turned around. But they didn't play that great and won last game, so I don't know if they have just turned it around or if they just were lucky. But Molde, of course, on top. As a Viking fan, it makes me want the Viking player even more. But yeah, I look at this as captaincy options, and I feel like Molde, you need to have 3 players from them, and their fixtures look great. So.
Yeah. Espen from from Christiansen. I like the fixtures after Molde. So they play. Let me get the pronunciation. Strømgodset and then Stabæk, and then they have tough game against Bodø/Glimt, and then Vålerenga, Brann, Sandefjord. So until game week 11, they have only one tough fixture after Molde. I'm saying so. Pellegrino is someone to consider for sure, I would say, because I'm planning myself to get him Castro. I've had enough funds in the bank to do that. Unless I got priced out, then I have to make it in 2 moves. But Christiansen, you like their fixtures defensively and offensively?
To be honest, I'm not so sure. Molde, of course, hard, can be many goals. So if I would want Pellegrino, I actually would get him now before the home game against Molde. I think that's the game he can deliver. Away at Strømsgodset, who Jakob presented on Twitter, considering most shots in the box, 48. That's an interesting game. Stabæk, they conceded 4 against Molde, but they are good in defense. Might be hard to get them to score there. Bodø/Glimt as well. It's a good team. It's hard. It's like 50-50 games around here. But his form is well. Kristiansund's form is well. So sure, the form is better than the fixtures. As always.
Yeah. Another team I like as well is Vålerenga. After Rosenborg next game week, they have Aalesund, Mjøndalen, Haugesund, 3 good fixtures for the likes of Williamson. Shala is someone I really like to have. He's a fun player to own. Cheeky assists here and there. Probably get a lot of yellow cards that gets overturned for some reason. He has a lot of deals with the Eliteserien. But he's a cool player to have, I imagine. Williamson is on penalties as well. He scored 3 goals, I think, so far. So he could be a good option as well. Teams to avoid, of course. Sandefjord, Start, Strømgodset, actually. So you just jumped on the Salvesen train. I'm 2 weeks old with him, but I kept him. After Stabæk, they have Kristiansen, Rosenborg, Mjøndalen, Molde. I don't know. If I keep him until Christiansen, then I will ship him out. They have tough games afterwards. Haugesund, after the start, gets stiffened up as well with Odd. If they continue the hot form now, it could be tricky fixture. Molde, and then some mixed bags in between. So you think these teams we should avoid or offload the assets soon?
Well, I think those teams is in the bottom here is teams to avoid. But Strømsgodset, I will give Salvesen home matches against Kristiansund and Mjøndalen in game week 6 and 8. He will get those 2 chances to show me that he can stay in my team. So that's 2 great home matches. And the same with Sandefjord. They have Sarpsborg home in game week 6 and Ålesund home in game week 8. So if you have Voss 4.0 defender, or you bought what is this man called, Jonsson? At your team.
Vidar Jonsson,
you can start him, I think, because Sandefjord is a defensive team. So home to those 2 teams, and even the next home game against Mjøndalen is games to keep those players.
Nice. And
just watch out for Voss, because they have signed a center back from, I don't know where he's from, but the other center back is the captain. So I believe that Voss is the one who will lose his place if they decide to bring this guy in. But you have to wait.
So to sum up, you need the triple of on Molde and Bodø/Glimt. That's 6. Maybe Bamba. Rosenborg is still a wait and see. And Sandberg, Pellegrino, and a couple of defensive options. That looks like the trend, the future trend, I would say. It's not now, but in 2 or 3 weeks' time. But who knows? It's a pretty random. Okay, so let's move on to the questions. We have a lot of questions this time, so we'll try to group them and answer them as quick as possible. So, Jakob, let's start with Ibrahimai from Andy Nash. He has a question about Ibrahimai. Is he a keep or a sell now? He's getting some attacking returns, but Viking as a team is not at his best. What do you think?
Yeah, I am or was in the same situation because I'm also owner of Ibrahimai. I would say definitely keep for the next 2 games.
Yeah.
They look great, and now he scored, and I've seen on the average position, he is one of the players who is most advanced in the field. So definitely, I don't think he will be the biggest problem in Andy or anyone's team. So definitely a keep for Ibrahimai.
Yeah.
Great differential right now, actually, with Ibrahimai. I would never sell them before, like in 3 game weeks when they are Molde away. Maybe.
Yeah, that's I agree indeed. FPL Knights with their question: best 4.5 for rotating goalkeepers. We've touched on it last video, I believe, and I still think that Makani is a good option. Espen, you had a golden rule with a goalkeeper: just get one and an unplaying player, because you will probably get them wrong. But if you have another pick at 4.5, 4.6, would you recommend someone?
Instead of Makani, it's William Myra, but as we said, 48 shots in the box. 4.5, you can go to start, but no, you don't want anyone from there. Ålesund, you don't. I would go higher. I would go someone else, which is more expensive, and then 4.0 keeper on the bench, because you don't have the bench boost chip, and it's no point to have a playing goalkeeper. And
yeah, very wise. Christopher Lenz, that's the name of the account, but I know a player in Bundesliga, Christopher Lenz, has got good fantasy memories as well. But he has a question about Zachariasen. Is it worth keeping Zachariasen or downgrade him to Sandberg? What do you think, Jakob? I think that move makes a lot of sense, given that Sandberg is a captainable option next game week. So I think you have to make the move, right?
Yeah, we saw that Rosenborg fixtures is high on the fixture ticker, and again, I like the movement of Zachariasen, but it seems like it doesn't get the ball enough. So you don't want. I don't think you get fancy points for good movement. So I think I would sell, because I think he will be sold a lot this game week as well. So his price will keep on sinking like the Titanic. So probably, and Sandberg, of course, as you said, will be highly captain. So it seems like a good move.
Amazing. Okay, next question from Andy Nash. Did we get this question? Oh yeah, no, it's another question from him, and Hestibo is asking the same as well. Best replacements for Salitros. Let's talk about the midfielders at 5.5 or lower. We've mentioned already a few names like Jobel. We mentioned also Berg if you don't own him. Hoff at 5.5 is another name. Did we miss someone else maybe?
I mean Askar. Did we mention?
Yeah, Askar as well. Yeah. So we have quite a few names there. Jorgensen as well. I think Jakob, you were mentioning about Jorgensen.
Yeah, he's been really good. He's been called the new Sergio Busquets from Odd. But as a lot of players, if you only have 2 Bodø/Glimt players, you would go for Berg as the obvious option. But
yeah. All right. So that's the question we got on Slack and my Twitter. But I understand that, Jakob, you've got quite a few more. So let's pick up 2 or 3 more questions before we move on to the team plans. So we have more questions at your end.
Yeah, we can go for a question from Andy Martin, who is saying that his front line is Junker, Williamson, and Strand Larsen, and he's finding it hard to bring in Børven. And I believe a lot of players also want to bring in Børven. So he's asking if he's essential and maybe if he's worth a -4 or even a wild card.
I think it's the time to mention that tomorrow we will know if Berven will play in Odd or in Rosenborg next game week, because this is the last chance for Rosenborg to bring Berven in. If not, if they don't buy him now, he will not be playing for Rosenborg until the 7th of September, which also means for Berven that when he's playing the last game in July, he has to wait for over a month before he's playing a game again. I'm pretty sure, and I saw an article about it too, that Rosenborg and Odd are close to be agreeing on the price here. So I think Berven is a Rosenborg player tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. And I second this, since we saw the announcement today from Odd signing the new striker Bakinga. They announced him today, so I expect that has something directly to do with the Berven move. So I don't know if I will bring him in now if he's gonna be a Rosenborg player in the next 2 days, because I don't think he will play immediately. Maybe game week 6, maybe 7 actually. So I'm not sure, but if he stays at Odd, I think the fixtures for Odd are good. He's in a fine form, so I will do the -4 and bring him in myself. So
and Berven in game week 7, 8 and 9 for Rosenborg against Strømsgodset Start in Sandefjord.
Wow.
That's a we have to bring him in.
Yeah, that's a very good one. Yeah. Right. So
on to another question from FPL Green Arrow Chaser, who I believe is leading our mini league. And is top. I think he's 30th place overall. He's asking if the Mjøndalen defense can be trusted. And I like this question because in my draft now I have 2 Mjøndalen players, but they conceded 2 goals at home to Kristiansund. It's difficult because the first 3 games they look very solid at the back, but you never know with Mjøndalen maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the double up myself. I like to have one, of course, for Alisson game, but then you have Molde, who is capable of scoring. Valerin, they're capable of scoring. Strømsgodset, if they get a cheeky penalty, maybe. But Budul limit. So between now and game week 9, I do see maybe 1 or 2 clean sheets at best. What do you think, Espen? So I think 1 is fine, like Makani or Solheim Johansen, because he's bonus points magnet. Even if they concede, they kind of grab some. But double up together seems a bit much now. I'm not sure. What do you think, Espen?
I would go as cheap as possible if I was going to be on dollar. So Nakim, but he's has a rise, so 4.6 or 7. And as you say, in the next few game weeks, where is the clean sheet?
Yeah, tough one.
I don't think it will be a clean sheet for a while, actually. So I wouldn't go there.
Why did I get McCann on the wild card then? Right, yeah.
Yeah, and one last question we have talked some about it, but it is from FPL Remain, and he is asking if we should play Berg every week, because he is saying that maybe he's a waste of Bodø/Glimt space because his ceiling is so low. He can only get maximum of maybe 6 points and score maybe 1 or 2 more goals this season, but I don't know what you think.
Which player did you say?
Berg from Bodø/Glimt.
Depends on the formation. But
let's say if you play a 4 in midfield, would you start him or would you bench him?
Well, right now I have Saletros and Berg, so of course I start Berg. But for those who has 4, 8 million and Ekrem, of course, and then Berg as number 5.
I think he's a big answer if you want to get Berven up top with Ekrem. I had this chat with myself and some managers as well when I wildcarded. The thing with my team now is I have a power 5. So the cheapest midfield that I have now is actually Sandberg and Heide at 7.7. But if you want to go Berven up top, you have to sacrifice a spot from midfield, and that has to be Berg. To to get Borvin and Berg. That's about 16 million. So quite similar to if you want to get Salvesen and Sandberg, for example. So if you really want Borvin and captain him for the next game weeks, I think you can start Berg because, as you said, Jakob, he takes an expensive slot on Bodø/Glimt that you want to get anyway. You really need the 3 spots. And Berg is kind of attacking now. He's deep in position, but when they attack, he takes long shots. He is getting a lot of balls. So for his price, if you look for value, you will get 4 or 5 points every game week. That's mad. That's great.
Can't forget about the chat here on YouTube. As Chris Bacon is saying here, as we said, he don't have a high roof, but his floor is the highest floor in the entire game. He's saying, like, we'll always have 4 or 5 points every game week, and that might be better than that's the same.
That's his blank. Berg blank is 4 or 5 points. So
that's his blank.
Yeah, and if you look at the points per match for the players, so if I go to midfield, sort of by points per match, Berg is 5.8. What I like about the player, that's a rule I take in FPL as well. I like if his points per game is matching his price. So Pellegrino, 10.7 points per game, 9.1 his price. That's great. Heide, 8.2, 7.7 million. That's great. Berg is 5.8 points per game for 4.6 million. That's great. So if you look for value, then you can get Berg as the 11th player and push more money to get extra premium player. If that strategy makes sense. It's not very popular, but if you have a valuable asset like this, I think for me, if Heide goes to Belgium anytime soon in July, his only replacement will be probably Berg back, because then I have the 3 million to use to upgrade Salvesen to Borven, for example. Here you go, with the fixtures turn. So I think that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, and also I believe if you go for the likes of Borven in attack, you will probably, your second striker would probably be like a 6.0 or lower.
Yeah.
And then they will have to score a goal to match Berg's points. So you're most likely get more points from Berg than Østensen or Ibrahim or a player like that. So yeah.
Very nice, very nice. We are closing to the hour mark, so let's move on quickly to the team of Game Week 5. Espen, I'll start with you. Who is in, who is out, if you made any transfers, and the captain?
Well, now it's time for me to roll the transfer. I've thought about it every game week. I didn't do it anytime. Should have done it last game week, of course. Enough about that with the Bourbon, but I will stand here. Eikrem, most likely the captain, but can't tell for sure. But my whole team right now in defense, Gregersen, Vogt, and Stolheim, are marked 75%. So that's a question about Boyang, who is still there. Maybe I should, because I got some money in the bank. Maybe I can ask you guys. I have 5.8 for a defender. Who should that be?
For a defender, you have a Gregersen already. So I like Aspak myself at 5.0. Okay. He looks a great option. I like if you want to double up on Molde, you have already James. But if you want to switch to Borven, then you can use the money to get Pedersen or Hayden if the funds allow. I think these two stand out. What do you think, Jakob?
Yeah, I agree. I was going to say Hovland, but I seen that his price is over 6. So Rosenborg have some nice fixtures, and defensively they look quite solid. But yeah, I agree with the ones you mentioned.
All right, let's move on to my team first. I will keep Jakob till the end because he has more to chat about. I'm either rolling the transfer or using one. Depends on the Stabæk team sheet. If Vogt starts, then I will move Vidar Jonsson on. I don't know why I got a Sandefjord defender. Even if he's out of position, he looked playing left back last game because of the injuries. Why is that? Because I relied on, or I bet that Pellegrino will drop in price because I have 0.6 to move on Castro to Pellegrino. Now I'm priced out, so I think I will start Vogt because he plays in a better team who can keep more clean sheets, and use the money to upgrade Castro to Pellegrino after Molde. So I might use it. If Vogt misses out again, I will roll the transfer and do the same move the next game week. So I'm pretty set on what I want, and I hope I stick with my word because I switched my guard after the stream and did not work out. Captain Ikram and Vice Captain Sandberg, but actually Sandberg is pushing after I talked to you guys on the stream. Ooh, it will be scary to because Ikram will be captain by 130% at least. So if he scores and Sandberg blanks, that's a big damage in itself.
Captain
Even if you
Castro Karam.
Against Mjodalen, I'm happy to own, but not sure I will captain. No, not sure about that. Right, so last but not least, Jakob, wildcard team. Not final, just to emphasis to the viewers, but where you stand, which players are locked in and which players are not yet.
Yeah, the only thing with this team that is 100% is that this won't be the team at Wednesday at 4 p.m. The only nailed player is, of course, Eikrem and Berg. Other than that, and Sandberg, of course. Other than that, everyone is at risk of losing their place. And I've gone back to Pellegrino. My love for him is too big after that game in game week 2. And Berven, of course, is back. Gregersen in for now. We have to wait and see with his injury. On the website now, they updated it, and he is on a yellow bar with 75% chance of playing. So we have to wait and see with that. Dessler as a 1 week punt because I like his combinations with Sandberg against Start, and then I will probably move him on because of their fixtures.
Yeah.
3 Bodø/Glimt players, of course, as we mentioned, is important. Getting cold feet with 2 Mjøndalen, but as you can see on my bench, I have Vogt, so I can use him, of course.
Yeah.
And for on this picture, at least, I have Eikrem as captain, but I don't think I will be surprised at myself if we come back at the review of this game week, and I will be disappointed for have gone for a differential captain that once again fails to score. So a lot of tinkering before the deadline.
That's a solid wild card. You went for a double Mjøndalen, so there could be something there. Espen, you think he is missing someone in his team? I like his draft.
Missing one Molde player. That's my first thought. But Dessler in this game is wow. You need him. But maybe his plan is Dessler to another Molde defender later on.
Yeah.
Holmgren Pedersen, of course, in my thoughts, but I have some money in the bench as well, so in the bank. So if Pedersen, his price is rising, I can afford to bring him in. Of course, I want to have 3 Molde players in the team. And I'm also looking at maybe some Viking players because, as I mentioned, they have a good fixture. So
Oh, lovely stuff. Good luck, everyone, with the game week 5. Thanks so much for joining us here. It's almost the hour, so we will end there. So, Espen and Jakob, thanks so much for joining me here, and good luck with the game week 5 tinkering.
Thank you. And for the comments, I will not bring in Boyang. Never.
No, you are missing Boyang, Jakob. All right. Thanks so much, and thanks for the viewers who joined us today. Very much appreciated. Hopefully you enjoyed the episode. Make sure you like and share and subscribe to the channel if you are first time around here. And see you guys on Thursday, I believe, with the game week 6 preview. Goodbye.
Yep. Goodbye.